Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Let's take a quick look at Near Protocol, see what's going on. I'm going to talk about this break of structure and potential retest of the local high with potentially a new low. It would be really cool to see that. A lot of this is hinging on the fact that Bitcoin is making a run towards 84,000 and might actually sweep its CME gap. So if that were to occur, then we'd want to be in a position to potentially secure profits between now and then with this coin, or possibly consider a short. I hate to just shoot from the hip, without looking at the charts, but generally speaking, those are kind of the concepts that I'm applying right now, basically with Bitcoin. So in case you're not familiar, just kind of throwing it out there, Bitcoin is looking at hitting its $84,000 to $86,000 resistance range. If that were to happen, basically we're in a long right now to that range, and I'm considering a short position at 84 to 86K. So just a rough estimate is what we're looking at. That's tentative, of course, but if that were to come to pass, we want to be mindful that Near Protocol will probably make a run towards its local high here at about 263, or potentially even another high, basically a previous closure on the 4 hour at about 275. So that's kind of a little bit of a resistance range for this coin that we want to be mindful of, and just kind of not just arbitrarily take longs or shorts depending on how we feel that day, right? We want to look at the charts and kind of see what's going on. So let's look at the back end data first, kind of get perspective there. Please hit the like button before we get started. Really appreciate that. Helps grow the channel. Let's take a look here. 256 upwards about 270, 280. Geez, it just keeps going. Honestly, there's a lot of liquidation above the price. There's still some down below, but the concentrations are much further away. So it makes more sense for these shorts, these late shorts, to get hit pretty hard. But from a macro perspective, it's not like it's a dramatic amount. Majority of all the liquidation has been swept for Near Protocol in the macro perspective. So further upside is just a probability at this point based on that sentiment alone. Now, we don't take a trade based on one thing, but that's certainly a contributing factor. Take a look here at liquidation delta. We can recognize we're still on the bearish side, which does imply that there's too many people shorting this coin. We've had too much bearish divergence for too long. A lot of altcoins, including Bitcoin, is getting close to its break even, implying that we're seeing that shift in momentum occur. And if that were to happen, then this coin will probably break out and squeeze the hell out of a lot of shorts. So just be mindful of that. When it comes to open interest, though, there's not a ton of accumulation. So this is, I wouldn't say concerning. It just implies if you're going to take a long, you make sure to watch it close and not be super aggressive with your, or too liberal with your stop loss. You want to have it tightish just below this local low. Mainly because if you see this here, open interest is pretty low, just basically telling us that we have people buying at the 250 and 240 range, but it's not like a significant amount. Again, if this it's probably like that, it probably pales in comparison because of this upper range here at $3. There's a lot of resistance there. So future reference, mental note, $3 is not a good place to, you don't want to get too aggressive on a take profit target. You want to secure profits between now and then. Ideally, you take profits between here and the 260 to 275 range. Let's talk about the daily and work our way down, see what's going on. This coin has been very bad. There's no other way to describe it. Local resistance here is about 360. I think we're a long ways from that, but just note that we had a lot of trouble getting through that range there over the past month. Right now, though, we're obviously in a position where our previous low should be the new high, and that's at 275 mark. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and mark that as red, just kind of give us this little channel, help us understand where we're at. I'll draw out our fib levels later, but for the moment here, it's pretty simple as just kind of, understanding this is the range that we're in, okay? And once more, when it comes to fib levels, they just kind of give us areas of confluence, and there should be a lot of confirming factors with it. So if you're looking at the fib levels, you're like, oh my gosh, we got a strong resistance at 308. Truth is, that's a golden pocket. Yes, it helps, but if there's nothing else confirming it, doesn't mean too much. Simply put, I like to kind of specify that and clarify that because some folks they'll use Elliott wave or Fibonacci retracement and solely try doing that one thing. It's a very limiting factor. Very helpful, of course, if used correctly, but it's not something that you should only ever base your trades on. Okay, use other areas of confluence, and this is what we're going to look at here. Simple way to understand it here is that stochastic is swinging up. We're seeing the second stochastic swing, so where we reached our tentative bottom. We can also see what we bounced off 30 on the RSI. So these are not bullish signs, these are just early signs of reversal, okay? We're still below a lot of moving averages, so if you're gonna consider longs in this coin, please recognize that you shouldn't just take a long to $4, $5, $6. That's going to be a very foolhardy mistake because you're going to be stuck in that position a long time, and you'll probably get liquidated too if it's a leverage trade. So outside of spot, a long holding on for dear life is not really a good consideration. Having said that, 4-hour time frame, you can see this is how I generally like to draw my trend lines out, concurrent with the 20-day SMA. Even though it's not hitting every single point, it's getting the point across, letting us know that we are tentatively breaking above that short-term resistance / trend line. So that's in combination here with the RSI getting closer to 50, leads me to believe we're probably going to see a breakout in the near future, especially with the liquidation delta being too heavy to the short side and that there's a lot of liquidation above the price. We're over this moving average, which is generally beneficial. MACD is converging. And even though this isn't like a full-on like, hey, we got everything telling us we got to go long, there's more things here that are present letting us know that further upside is likely. We do got to recognize, though, of course, that our local high here hasn't been broken yet. So 253 appears to be a barrier. And this, so you can kind of see here as well, even though this isn't exact, you can kind of see this ascending type of trend here for the most part, obviously depending on how you draw that out. It's just a visual representation, but that kind of gives you an idea of the fact that we're establishing higher lows, okay? So that's kind of where we're at there. The hourly, I'm willing to speculate the cloud is going to be below the price, which it is. This is usually a favorable sign for a consideration to the upside. Lagging span, see if we can go ahead and clear this up here, is getting closer to the price action here or breaking free, and the conversion line's over the baseline. So we've got 2 out of 3 considerations here for long. These are the ones that are more impactful in my opinion, that kind of carry a little more weight. So while it's not the cleanest chart, based on the premise that Bitcoin's probably going to retest its 84 to 86K range here soon, this coin does look like it wants to break out in the near future. Keep in mind, Bitcoin pulls back. It's a different story altogether. I mean, we just saw this recent pullback for Bitcoin. It was a, top to bottom, about a 4.5% correction. And Near Protocol had a very similar scenario here. Let's go ahead and pull it up. Sorry, the charts get a little funky here. Well, let's go ahead and take a look. That was a, boom, 7% correction. So we are looking at almost a 2x correction for Near Protocol when Bitcoin goes, pulls back. So there's that as well. So the truth is, not a perfect situation, but we're breaking bullish, and the likelihood of, I think, retesting this 260 to 270 range, just as a loose estimate, is fairly high based on this short-term pattern. But once more, these things can quickly change, and a lot of it hinges on Bitcoin too. So this is looking, I would say, more favorable than not. You're statistically more likely to find success going up on the short term. And when I mean short term, I'm not talking about going to $3 or $4. I'm simply talking about this local range, okay? Come up to this local resistance here, this local high of 265. All right, so I'm going to post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. It looks a little something like this if you're not familiar. Quick congrats to our community members for some nice passive income with my plus trades. These are working out quite favorably. We're up about 60% overall on this is basically a $1,000 portfolio, only using $50 per trade. So it's looking pretty beneficial. It's up to 656 now at this point. So good stuff there. Let me know if you have any questions, of course. CryptoCash.tech is where you can register for any of that. Make sure you check out Bitunix too, folks. These guys are awesome. There's only 2 more days left in this deposit reward bonus. Easy money. All right, folks, have a good rest of the day. Look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks again for your time. Take care.